Hey everybody, welcome to the Fin Factor Live Edition. This will be the pre-shoot for episode number 71, I believe, right?
Yes.
71, yes. Is it 71?
Somewhere.
It's down there somewhere. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We've got Aaron here with the laptop. Has Super Key Grip Joe disappeared? Has he fallen off the map, this guy? I don't know. Do you guys miss him at all? That's the first comment I want in there. Do you guys miss Super Key Grip Joe?
If you
do,
bring Joe back.
Don't go that far. I just want to know if they miss him or not. Let's not jump to conclusions here. But yeah, so fire that in the comments there. If you don't know who I'm talking about, just say no. Because obviously you don't miss them if you don't know who he is.
Or they're new here.
Or they're new. Either way, regardless. Okay, so like I said, Aaron's on the laptop here, so feel free to filter in your comments and your questions, and we will address them as we see fit. Yes.
We got one from Ben and Gunsry.
Okay.
I'm probably saying that wrong. Hey guys, got the Fin Factor t-shirts and they look awesome. I'll be sporting them to the game on Tuesday against the Yotes. Look for the Fin Factor tee in section 214.
214, beautiful.
Keep an eye out for that.
If I may ask, do you know the order that he had? What colors did he get?
I think you got two, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.
I think it's a black and a gray.
A black and a gray? Okay. Yeah, no, those ones are the gray one especially. I like the gray one a lot.
I'll segue that out to put our link out there so you can see.
Thank you for that.
You can see all the collection that we have. We have 3 different color t-shirts: teal, black, gray. We have a black women's deep V cut, and we have Fin Factor hats, and we have stickers.
There you go. Yeah,
just like that. Right here in my water bottle.
Yeah. So again, hey, thank you so much for supporting the show. It really does help us out, and it helps you look pretty phenomenal. And let us know, how comfortable is that shirt?
Yeah.
Did we skimp on the shirts, or did we do well? Because I think we did well.
We also are still running our promo.
Yes.
How much is it off?
It's 25%. Yeah.
25% off with Cyber Monday 2019. Oh, there it is. There you 2019.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Very good. Okay. We have any other comments on
Jack Frost? Did you guys see Mario Ferraro's last video? I did not.
I did not.
I've actually. You did.
I did.
You did?
Yeah. He goes to Target and buys a whiteboard, and then he answers questions that people pose to him on social media.
Nice.
And he does it, I guess, from his wherever he lives. So I think he was doing it sitting on his bed like he's a 13-year-old.
I wonder, was it hockey-related questions, or was it the tech stuff that he's been like reviewing and whatnot?
Ask him anything.
Okay,
so
anything.
It was a big assortment.
A little AMA.
Nice.
Ask me anything.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
He drives a Kia.
Well, he's on that rookie salary.
Notable.
That's true. That is true. He has plenty of time to get out of the Kia, trust me.
Yeah. Mad Cow JR wants to know if we have any men's V-necks.
Men's V-necks?
Because we have the women's DV.
No, but
you could wear it.
Rock it, dude. Just rock it. Give it a go.
They are a slim fit, so if you're taller or if you're wider and you're thinking XL will fit you, it's a slim fit for women, and it's not going to translate to the same for men.
Right. Hey, man, maybe you've got the body for it, though. If you do, good on you. Give it a go. Or just get the normal ones, and I'd hate to say do this, but take some scissors to it. You can make your own V. Yeah,
slice
really
the sleeves off, just look totally hardcore.
That's the look nowadays, right? Everybody's got the torn knees in their jeans. Every time I see some girl wearing the jeans with the holes in them, I go, that poor girl, she can't afford a new pair of jeans.
Paul does not have a daughter.
I feel so bad.
It's true, he does not.
Anyway, keep going.
Again from Ben. Jumbo's assist on the hurdle goal, did it reminded him of Jumbo from 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty sweet, pretty slick assist. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I think it went forehand, backhand, sauced it over right to him, right? If I remember correctly, because he was on the right side of the goal. So he went, it was a 2-on-1 essentially.
Yeah.
And he juked the guy out of his shorts to get him to lay down, and just passed it right around him.
Just classic Joe Thornton.
Put it right on Hurdle's stick, and Hurdle kind of, he didn't shoot it right away. He kind of waited out. I forget who was in goal, but he waited him out until he was down, and then he put it in.
Did somebody say something about maybe Jumbo playing second line center? Trying to remember. Was it me? I think it was me.
Me, you,
This guy.
yeah.
Who has 2 thumbs and called that one? No, hey, it's nice seeing them back on the line together. I mean, Hurdle's really benefiting from Jumbo's passing ability. Somebody who's able to get him the puck. And now, I think it was an article, Hurdle had talked about how Jumbo is really good with protecting the puck, and they work so well together, right? I'm not sure I 100% agree with that. I think Jumbo's ability to protect, I mentioned this a couple times on the show, has diminished a little bit, and that's not a knock on him. It just is what it is. Oh yeah.
So we saw that in the preseason they had showed a picture of it, but he has not played a game when they were in the stealth gear, so we haven't been able to really see it other than probably in warm-ups. He was probably wearing them when he was not the starter on a stealth day.
So I've seen them several times at practices, but that's it.
Yeah, probably because he's breaking them in, right?
Yeah.
Because they were brand new.
Exactly why, actually, yeah.
They looked pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. I don't love the stealth as a fan, but I don't love them for both of them for them playing in them only because I just feel like the goalies have a hard time picking up the pucks because there's just so much black out and the puck doesn't stick out as much.
Well, you're saying for the stealth jerseys, not just his armor.
No, his are awesome. Who cares? Like he's
dope. Yeah.
You know, that's better for the other team. They can't find the loose puck
That's
because
true,
it just blends in with everything.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little give and take there.
No, it looks great though. It looks really, really good. I do like it a lot, especially when obviously you've got the black. And we're back. Yeah, no, just having a little bit of the gremlin in the system. We got to get the splash screen for that one, don't we?
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll have a little fun graphic for you guys maybe when we're having some technical difficulties. Looks like stream status says perfect now, so I think we're back in the flow of things. So there was a question that you had, something about Ferraro dropping to a knee.
Where did it go?
I don't know. You had a laptop.
Since we're on the topic Ferraro, do you think him slipping to his knee had any part of the first goal against?
I don't remember the exact sequence, unfortunately.
I can't either.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that one and get back to you maybe. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're talking about the game where we just won 4-2, yeah, I mean that was a nice game. They played really well defensively. They were forechecking well. They did lots of things really well in that game. They kind of let their foot off the gas in the second and still held on to the lead, which is great. And then, yeah, the two empty netters at the end there.
That's kind of weird, though.
Yeah.
'Cause, did I mention it? Did I say it on Twitter? It's weird in only the Sharks' way. Both goalies had 2 goals against, and yet the Sharks win 4-2 because of 2 empty netters. Go figure. Can't close out a game. Still can't close out a game. I mean, they got the win this time, but should shut them down.
Yeah.
Shut down the other team. What do you think of Radil getting sent down and Blickfield, who got called up?
So I'm happy that Radil got sent down. Not because I just don't like the guy, even though I really don't. But that's not the reason why, okay?
Not him as a person.
No.
Him as a player.
I'm sure he's nice as a person, but he doesn't really speak that much English to the fans, so I can't tell if he's nice or not. But regardless, I think he needed that. I think he needed to get out of the NHL. It was too fast. It was too much. He wasn't thinking quick enough. There's a lot of different aspects to the game, and it's not just if you have the right size or the right skill level even, you still have to think the game fast enough, and I don't think he was quite there yet at NHL speed. I think I saw a update tonight he played with the Barracuda, actually scored a goal. So, I mean...
Probably got his confidence.
Yeah.
And going back down, the speed's a little bit slower, so he's probably getting up to game speed.
That to me is it. That to me is it right there. In terms of confidence, you got to have a little bit of ding on your confidence if you're being sent back down.
I don't
you would
think so, because it could be just, hey, we don't have a game tonight, and they do. You can get sent down easily.
You can get sent down, but you have to clear waivers.
Not for him, right?
I think he had to clear waivers.
Blickfield?
I thought no, not Blickfield. No. We're talking about Radil.
Oh, Radil.
Yeah.
We're talking about Blickfield.
See, this guy just Blickfield's still with the team. He didn't get sent.
Aaron's having technical difficulties.
Aaron's having technical difficulties. Nice. Yeah, no. So I think that was the right thing for Lukash. I don't think he's quite ready for the NHL on a full-time basis. Kind of like what we saw with Sumela last season, right? He started off out of the gate, looked pretty good, and then he kind of faltered a little bit, got sent back down. Now, he didn't have to clear waivers, whereas Radil did. That's the confidence part I'm talking about. They're willing to let Radil go to a different team if somebody wanted to claim him. It wasn't a surprise that he didn't get claimed, quite frankly, but that to me is maybe the little bit of ding on the confidence. But again, he steps in. The speed of the AHL is a little bit slower. It's more his pace maybe in terms of how quickly he can think the game, and he goes out there and he ends up scoring a goal. So there's your confidence booster. Okay, I still got it. It's just a matter of me being up to snuff and keep working hard, and maybe I can make my way back up the ladder there, right?
He could be one of those guys that's just good in the AHL and not quite up to snuff in the NHL.
How long has John McCarthy been in the AHL?
Right. And then the other, case in point, who are the 2 guys that we thought were going to make the roster this year? two young guys that are 20.
Ferraro.
No.
Oh, with Chekovic and Shmelyevsky.
We
yeah.
don't. You never know if they can't get quite past that next level because I think Shmelyevsky, I saw yesterday on Twitter, has scored his first goal in like a month in the AHL.
Yeah, I
That's
think
a
he
long
was.
time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. And the CUDA folks that watch this show too. I believe he was dealing with an injury, and I thought they had said something about that he was dealing with an injury. When he came back, he started his scoring again. So I'm not sure if there's more to it than he just wasn't good enough. Maybe there was something that was hampering him, keeping him back. But let me know. I don't know if that was the case. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But yeah, I think might have been something wrong with him there. But we'll see. Hopefully he steps up and can continue with the way I hope he plays.
Right.
He can keep going in the AHL, maybe get a call-up or something like that.
I mean, it's still 20 years old. It's still fairly.
Oh, yeah.
The youngest you could be in the AHL.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's not a terrible thing.
No, totally. No, absolutely. Yeah, I think we kind of forget sometimes that just because a guy shows some promise doesn't mean he has to make the roster right away, or even in the first couple of years. So let him season, let him get ready to rock, and I'm just excited to see him. So I just want to see the guy play. He's got silky smooth hands.
Yeah.
That guy, yeah.
Sasha played with a bad foot.
There you go.
That's from Anthony Sanchez.
Yeah, and that's one of the worst things you can be playing with, because if you're immobile,
Yeah.
you can't play hockey. It doesn't matter how well you can stick handle, how well
Yep.
you can shoot. If you can't skate, done.
Yep. All right, I'm caught up for now. So
Sweet.
let's talk about the very first win for the new coaching staff.
Yay! Again, it was one of those games where they played well defensively. They were forechecking a lot more. The D was kind of pinching a bit more. We were kind of pushing them in their own zone in that first period. And the pucks that they got through, and they came into our zone there. It sounded like even with Vlasic was talking about afterwards, we did a good job of keeping them the outside, keeping their shots into like not in those high danger areas. And the only times they really got those shots were when we screwed up. And again, it comes back to what I've been saying is if they're playing good, solid team defense, this was another 2 or fewer game, guys. And in the second period, they didn't even play that great defensively, right? I mean, they were.
I thought they were boxing out in front of their own net
Yeah.
much better. And I love towards the end of the third period when Vlasic dropped his gloves.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
So I feel like the Sharks never do enough of that, or at least they haven't in a long time. And I feel like a lot of other teams do that against the Sharks, where if that was against the Sharks, the guy drops his gloves, like, why doesn't he get a penalty? There was nothing on that play. I think the Sharks need to do a lot of that because, I mean, at this point, they're already the most penalized team in the league, right? Like, what do they got to lose?
Yeah.
But protect your net. So your guys on top of your goalie are giving an extra whack in there. You better let them know that that's not cool.
Give it to them.
Yeah, and you get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
I said something bad, but get out and protect your crease. And
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job of that, or a better job, maybe not the best job, but I thought they did a better job of boxing out their guys. There was a play, I think it was before they scored their second goal. They almost scored, and Hurdle actually saved it almost off the line. Everyone had their guys tied up, and then Hurdle saw the loose puck and swatted it away, almost away. It kind of got stuck in there, and then they almost got another scoring chance. But I just thought they looked better to me, stronger defensively, not soft, like they have been the whole season practically.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good start to a turnaround of playing harder in front of their net.
Definitely, and if you go back to that press conference that Boogie had there, he mentioned these are the things that we want to be. We want to be harder in front of our own net. We want to pressure in the offensive zone, forecheck hard. We don't want to be soft in our zone like DeBoer had already identified. See, and again, I go back to did DeBoer need to get fired? Well, I mean maybe, but I mean he was saying all the same things, right? Now there are certain things that Bugner's tweaking to his liking. But these are the same things that Pete DeBoer was also saying. He was saying we need to not be soft in our own zone. We need to play defense first, right? So, I mean, did the firing maybe spark something in the Sharks? Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Otherwise, it's all for naught. But I'm not really sure that it was. I'm not really sure that Pete DeBoer needed to be fired for anything like system-wise that he was doing. I think again. They needed a new voice. The voice went stale or whatever. Okay, fine. But even Bugner, being the assistant, all he's doing is tweaking. He's not implementing his entire system. He's just tweaking the things that they've already done. And he's going to say, okay, we want to be just a little bit harder here. We want to push more here. We want to focus more on this. And some of those things, again, DeBoer had already said. So, again, maybe just a different voice. Hopefully this the winning continues. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does everyone think about the penalties the Sharks have been getting the last couple of games from Sarah V? Still too many, I think. I think they need to be a little bit better disciplined, especially when they get the lead. Be a little bit more disciplined, so you don't give the other team a power play and you're starting to flirt with disaster and lose control of the game. I also think we're in December now, middle of December, refs are going to start swallowing their whistles a little bit more. Going back to what I said about Vlasic and dropping the gloves and smacking the guy around a little bit, if that happened a month ago, 2 months ago, I think that would have been a penalty. Now it's kind of like, yeah, the guy deserved it in a way. They police themselves. That's okay.
Yeah, and it was I think the Predators game where Kaner had 19 minutes worth of penalties, kept him out of the entire third period, basically, right? Yeah. The last couple minutes he came.
And the Sharks can't lose to, they can't afford to lose a top 6 winger, a top 3 winger.
No, they can't.
Game. They're not going to be able to compete.
They absolutely cannot. So, again, and this goes back to, again, last season what we were talking about, or what I was talking about with Kane was, it's nice that he sticks up for his teammates. It's great that he's kind of like that snipe forcer, right? He's a great shooter, but he's like an enforcer type of player on the team as well. Like when he's out there and someone's messing with his teammate, he's like the first guy always to step up and say something about it, do something about it. So, that's all nice, well, and good. I'd rather have him on the ice, and I'd rather have him on the ice putting pucks in the net, and the guy's shown that he can do that. So, again, what do I think about the penalties? Yeah, still too many. Hopefully that type of stuff gets pulled back and reined in a little bit. I think with the amount of forechecking and whatnot, the amount of pressure that we're going to be putting on the other teams, and hopefully our ability to play like we're playing a PK when it's 5-on-5 and be strong in our own zone. Hopefully that means we're not going to be a step behind a lot of the times, and that's where we're getting a lot of those tripping, slashing, hooking, those infraction type penalties, those stick infraction penalties, where generally you get those when you're a step behind. So if they're constantly pressuring and pushing forward, they're not constantly chasing people that are trying to get into the zone, you're going to see a little bit less of those penalties. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we see them kind of cutting down on those penalties because, again, it's great having the best PK in the league, but I would much rather have some time in the offensive zone rather than just killing all the time. So.
Jack Frost, with the new coach and the team probably still wanting to make playoffs, at what point do we hit the panic button? To me, it'll be All-Star break. I think that's a good point when they take a break to see where they are in the standings, because that's more towards the end of January. At that point, if they're already out of a playoff spot or not even really that close, then it's like, oh, geez, now we got less than a month for the trade deadline so we can get something for nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think the All-Star break for me is like the make or break point.
I'm going to push that just a little bit farther than the All-Star break. I'm going to say closer to the trade deadline for me in terms of I wouldn't even say panic. I would just say whether or not you feel like you're going to make that push or whether you're going to start selling. To me, it's not so much panicking. I'm not really panicking about it. It's just a matter of what's going to be the path that you take. Are you going to say, okay, we're just not going to be good enough and start selling? Or do you say, we got a legitimate shot here? And the reason I'm saying closer to the trade deadline is just because Bugner is, he's taken over here. So his system, or not I'm say system, but his tweaks are going to take a little bit longer to implement because he's kind of just now implementing them. He hasn't had the benefit of having, again, preseason and everything else.
How many practices has he had?
Exactly.
2?
I think he's had, maybe a little bit more than 2, but he's only had a handful of practices.
Yeah.
So that's going to take a little while. So you may see some, back and forth, winning, losing. When we get past the All-Star break, they might still be hovering around 500.
For reference, All-Star break is January 26th.
Yeah.
Trade deadline is February 24th.
Yeah, that's a month.
About a month.
I give it 2-3 weeks after the All-Star to where I'm starting to go, okay, this is what I think the Sharks will really be, right? And again, the only reason is because with Bugner, if his system starts kicking in, by the All-Star game, they may still be closer to like just a little bit over 500 or maybe at 500 or so if it starts kicking in. But they may get on a roll after that point, right?
Yeah.
So if they were still running with Pete DeBoer and the missions had gone stale and that's where they were at that same point in time, yeah, I'd be a little more worried because there's probably not going to be any ramping up or change going on with a different coach.
Yeah.
They might be building off of that. So.
All right, Anthony Sanchez, is it me or does Jumbo look faster on the ice ever since Hurdle's been placed on his line? I don't know about faster, but you got to remember Jumbo was playing with Sorensen and sometimes LeBanc, sometimes Marlowe. It kind of switch around.
Gaudreau.
no offense to those guys, but they're not Tomas Hertl. When you have a really higher skilled winger, I mean, a lot of those passes to me, Jumbo's been making those to Sorensen, and Sorensen's not burying them. He's getting he'd bury like 1 of 3 golden chances. Other times the goalie would make a save or he'd miss the net. Now you got Hertl, who's going to bury those a lot more. So, of course, Jumbo's going to look better because he's on the scoreboard. He's making passes. He's making those plays. But to me, I think it's part of the winger, the quality of winger, having Hertl on his line than Sorensen, even Marlowe.
Yeah.
And Gaudreau is maybe he's right in there. Like, they're all about the same skill level.
I think
not Hertl's level.
Yeah, I think when you play with better players, now the question was about not so much just looking better, but looking faster, right? I think when you have better players that draw more attention, it opens up some of the ice for you. And a guy like Jumbo, when he's playing with a guy like Sorensen, maybe he's not the most threatening guy on the ice, right? So they don't respect his space, or they don't respect him as much, so maybe they give him a little bit more room where he can skate around. He's not as dangerous. Whereas with Jumbo, again, he's not like the fastest guy out there or anything, but when somebody's sucking towards Hertl, it kind of opens up the ice for Joe to move around. He can glide a little bit farther and faster, as opposed to having to keep doing these stop and starts with a guy who maybe needs Jumbo to take the puck back. Hertl can protect the puck himself. So I think that maybe is part of it. I think it's an opening of the playing field, if you will, right? There's more ice for Joe when he's got other guys out there that are a lot more dangerous than his normal line mates. So I think that's maybe where it looks like maybe he's going faster. It just maybe him not doing as many start and stops, playing with lesser wingers, we'll say.
All right, I'm going to read a couple of these off because they're all pretty much related.
Yeah.
Brendan Kilm, do you think Nabokov will be able to help Jones and Dell turn their seasons around? As a goalie, you can't rely on your defense to play perfectly to play well. Anthony Sanchez, Jones is lacking confidence. The Sharks just need an extra stop a game to really get to the next level. And then for Mad Cal, Dell might pop off and keep playing starter. I mean, St. Louis fired coach and Bennington popped off. Thoughts? No. Stop it. Dell's not going to be the starter. You're looking at one game that Dell played and got a win. And to me, we've seen this time and time again. I've still not seen Dell put together a strong game after one strong start. One strong start being yesterday. Even then, it wasn't perfect. I mean, if you got a shutout, for sure. But wait until the next game. Wait till he puts 3-4 games together before going, oh, he's ready to take over as starter. We've seen this the last 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
We've put together, look at our episode from last year, we put together a whole stats thing of Dell is just not there to take the next step. He's not going to be to me, I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think he's a very good backup, or even at best case a 1A, 1B situation, but he can't take the workload. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's if it's mental or if it's physical, like he's just fatigued, but he just can't quite do it. So I will say no until I see Dell put at least 3 games back to back to back together that are strong. He's just not there right now.
Yeah, we use this word consistency a lot, and I really don't like the word consistency anymore when it comes to hockey. And I'll tell you why. Whenever someone says, oh, they're inconsistent, right? Everybody's inconsistent. Every single goaltender is inconsistent. Every goal scorer out there is inconsistent. And if anybody was consistent, that would mean they constantly, every single time, make a save or score a goal on every shot. Consistency is not something that is by default. It's like the unattainable bar goal that's way out there. You can never be 100% consistent. This is never going to happen. So looking at Aaron Dell, I don't want to use the word consistent, but I'm going to use it in this case, not in terms of skill level, but in terms of his ability to just play however it is that he plays. Okay, if Aaron Dell is like a 6 out of 10, in that game, first game, he'll be a 6 out of 10. In that second game, he's probably going to be more like a 5 out of 10. If it's another back-to-back game, or not back-to-back, but if it's another consecutive start for him, it just kind of keeps going downhill. Usually, we've seen this in the past before. Now, he may ramp back up and have a good game, but then again, he can't take that many starts in a row. So that's what I mean by inconsistent. It's just his level of play. Not being really good and being really good all the time, just whatever his level of play is, he can't tend to do that game in and game out. So I think this is what lends well to him being a good backup, because he gets that game in, he plays his 6 out of 10, he does a good enough job. Sometimes we get the win, sometimes we don't. Okay, fine. give him a couple nights off, he comes back, and then he's a 6 out of 10 again, right? He doesn't really drop down. So that's the way I've seen it in terms of consistency. I think when you start stringing consecutive games together for Aaron, for Deller, sorry, he has a rough go. So again, it's not so much, again, a lot of people see the one win and they think, okay, he's our starter, and it's like, no, he's earned it, right?
This is why we do a weekly show and not a show after every game, because you go up like, oh, Dell's the greatest starter, he should take over from Jones, and then you go back down, and you're like, Dell's terrible. Why do we even have him on this team? And then bring up Kornash or bring up
Koshinash and Shortridge or Emmond or any of the other guys that have no AHL experience even yet.
Everything got ruined because of St. Louis last year.
Yeah.
Firing the coach, bringing up a goalie from was it even in the ECHL last year or something?
I don't remember.
It's just, that's not going to happen. And there's probably 20 other teams right now in the NHL that are thinking the exact same way as the Sharks. So what they did last year will not happen again. It's so rare. So rare. It's never happened before, and it will never happen again. How about that? At least in my lifetime. Going back a little bit, do you think they're going to get better with Nabokov? What's interesting is Dell worked with Nabokov when he was in the minors, so he was already his coach, and he liked his style. He mentioned that he liked his style, and he responded well to it. So I think hopefully Dell improves and gets a little bit more consistent. Jones, I'm sure, probably needed a fresh voice. I do think it's his confidence, and it's all mental. I think he has the skill to be an NHL goalie. I don't think he'll ever be an all-star goalie, but I do think that he is very capable enough to be definitely above average, which he has not been the last 2 seasons. I think he's better than what he's playing. I think he just needs to get his confidence up, and he needs to get those little nitty-gritty details down. And Nabokov, I think, is a more vocal coach than was it Moose?
Moose, yeah. Hedberg, Johan Hedberg, yeah.
So I do think that they will improve.
I'm hesitant to say confidence. I think he's frustrated. I think, yes, he could be better, but I don't know if that's a confidence issue. I think he knows he can be better, right? At the same time, I think there are, and we've heard this in a post game, even Aaron Dell in a post game, where Aaron was saying, hey, it's kind of rough when every other shot is a high danger shot, right? I think he's kind of given the jab to the team defense there, and rightfully so. And I think that's what it is with Martin Jones. I think he's frustrated. And I think, he'd like the team to play better around him because he needs the help. And it kind of exposes that, I'm not a really great goaltender. I'm a good goaltender. And when you put not so great system in front of me and guys are missing assignments and I'm getting cross-crease one-timer after another, I can only make so many of those saves, guys. If that happens 5 times in a game, 2 of them are probably going in, right? So I think he's a little frustrated. Not to say he's a great goalie and he's frustrated with this. No, he's an okay goalie, and he's frustrated because his team's not helping him out to keep the score tight because he's okay. So I don't know. I think that's what it is. I don't know if it's so much confidence. I think he's frustrated. That's me. Now, in terms of Nabokov, I'll say this. I went to the practices, and if you guys follow our Twitter account, which is just at the Fin Factor, and our Instagram is at Fin Factor, the last couple days, I've gone to some practices as well, and I put up, there's a mannequin that they were using. Now, this mannequin isn't it is the property of the Sharks, but it's not something that the Sharks use. It was something that the Barracuda used. And I guess it belongs to one of the Barracuda coaches, because when they came over, they brought the dummy. So this huge mannequin, which, by the way, I think Kerr said it was nightmare fuel, because the green face. Yeah, it's just, and it's like a child's face too. It's really weird.
Is it? I thought it was just a green.
It's like a green child's face. It looks it's creepy.
I thought it was one of those green suits that, you know what I'm talking about?
Like no, I know what you mean. Yeah, the Vancouver. Yeah, but no, it's like a child mannequin that they spray painted green. It's really weird. It's freaky. Anyway, they use this thing with, it's got these gigantic skate blades to keep it propped up, and they just put it right in front of your goaltender. Now it's hilarious because the game that everybody had a problem with Jones, the 6-3 game, right, where he let in 5 goals. There was a couple, I think even Kurz was saying, those 2 goals are stoppable. And it's like, well, wait a minute. The reason that they're doing, okay, look at those goals, and they were screens, right? And I can tell you they were screens. You know why? Because they pulled the dummy out and put him in front of Martin Jones. Guys, I've been to tons of practices. The only time only time they ever bring out the dummy in this case, or the tripod that they usually use when it was Pete DeBoer's staff, the only time they ever did that was when they got scored on with screen goals. It's the only time. Other than that, they don't really practice that in their practices. They don't have those things in front of them all the time.
Yeah.
Right? If they're not getting screened and they're not putting goals in, that's not something they work on that practice. The only time they pull it out is when they're getting scored on like that.
In soccer, we used it a lot.
Yeah.
We would have it's not quite a dummy. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's a cutout of like 3 people, like a wall, basically, right? And you can move it in different spots, and they take shots, almost like they'll practice set pieces.
So you can't see the ball.
It's blocked. You can see through the bottom of the feet, or if you're up high, but it's kind of like got padding on it in the middle, completely solid across, so you can't see. So you have to kind of duck and move around to see, because it blocks your vision. It's the same type of thing.
Exactly. And so that's exactly what they did for Martin Jones in that other practice that I went to, was they put this dummy in front of him, and again, he had to duck and move and to see around it, because when they were coming in, they weren't always coming in at the same angle. They would change their angle a little bit, and so he'd be looking over here, and all of a sudden he has to change to look back and forth and whatnot.
He's got to constantly move to get his eyes on the puck.
Yeah, you got it.
At all times.
You got it. So that's why they had it out there. And again, 2 of those goals, they got in his eyes. Now, I challenge you, for whatever it is that your job is, please try to do that blindfolded. Even if it's just typing, if you're a typist, whatever, if you're a dev guy.
Test myself.
You can only type about a sentence or so. Try to do paragraphs. It ain't going to work. If you're a construction worker, best of luck hitting those nails in.
Yeah, don't do that.
So again,
Sholl have a problem.
That's the best way. I'm not trying to stick up for him. I'm just saying, for the other team, they're doing the right thing. They're getting in the goalie's eyes. They're making it difficult for him to do his job.
Joe Dodge in St. Louis.
Hey.
Sorry, we did ruin things.
Oh, what? What happened?
So we're saying
St. Louis
ruined it for everybody.
Got you. Yeah.
It's brilliant. Love it.
Nice.
And Joseph Stockman. Jones was an all-star goalie 1 year. That's right.
Yeah.
When he was, 920 plus save percentage, he was actually pretty good that year.
I'd love to see the stats on that season and get a better idea of, I don't know if there's certain stats that we could look at specifically that shows the team defense around him as opposed to the goalie stats. I wonder if, you know what I'm saying? I would love to see if there's a way to kind of compare.
I'm sure you can find it on, I just forget the name of that
Natural
site.
Stat Trick?
Natural Stat
Yeah, but
Trick,
I'm not sure what that stat would be. Maybe you guys can help me out.
just look at the high danger chances. I wonder if they've gone up every year.
There you go.
Right?
There you go. That's actually not bad. So maybe we do that. Maybe take a look at the amount of high danger chances that they had back when he was voted into the All-Star game versus the last couple of seasons, and just see, has the defense around him allowed more of those high danger chances? And if so, then there's some clout to what I've been saying for the past season or so. Anyway, fire away.
Anthony Sanchez. Paul, I disagree. Jones is lacking confidence, and frustration is a confidence issue. Okay. Brendan Klim. It's KLIM. Jones has shown he could be a 920 goalie. He seems to be deep in his crease and not predicting play, which is a sign that he isn't confident in himself or defense to make the plays. Probably a bit of both.
Yeah. I like that you added "or defense" because let's not speculate. I mean, we're doing a speculating here, but let's not say that he's lacking confidence necessarily, because it could be, like you said, confidence in the system around him. He knows he gets burned. He knows that cross creaser is going to go in if he doesn't sink back into his net a little bit more. So maybe that's why he's trying to play it a little bit more on the safe side, based on what's been happening.
I think he does I don't want to say fantastic's the right word. I think he does a better job than most goalies going from left to right or right to left and blocking those 2-on-1s, getting his leg pads down low, at least stopping everything that's low. I feel like he robs. There's a game, he has a save or two every game where he's jumping from one side to the other and robbing the other team. Okay. I feel like he does that well. Maybe that's why he's so deep in the crease, because he's expecting that pass to come across and it's not going to get stopped.
Yeah.
So he kind of anticipates it a little bit.
I feel like if he was actually really good with that, and I like that you said down low, because I think he's better down low than he is up high when he goes cross. But I think every goalie is better down low as opposed to up high, because when you're sliding across, you're
I feel
down.
like his feet are quicker than most goalies.
Okay.
Down low going across from side to side, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's a lot of times where he makes a save and I'm like, how did he do that? He's going to have a great game, and then he gives up 5 goals.
Then he gives up, yeah.
The Sharks need to learn to box players out so that Jones and Dell can see the puck, from Anthony Sanchez.
Agreed.
I agree. And I think they're starting to do that now. I think they're focusing on that and starting to do that.
Well, they said that in the last game. Vlasic said that during his interview for his 1000th game. He said, we're boxing guys out. So, and the times that they scored goals, he said it was, bad turnovers in our zone, or, it was self-inflicted. We weren't pushing them out of the way, and we were giving the puck up. So, continue doing that, right? Again, that defense first. I'm telling you. You know what? The other thing I thought was cool is how many shorthanded goals do we have on the season now?
That we scored?
Yeah. Look that up. So we've been talking about playing strong defensively, and people are saying, well, there's a different mentality because when you're on the PK, when you're on the PK, you're solely focused on defense, and yet we have 5 shorthanded goals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Humber Garcia, stop being such a Joner apologist. He's clearly not playing well right now. It's not just defense. He's not making the saves an average goalie should be making. Again,
Wow.
we don't think Jones is a great goalie. I'm not saying he is. But we're also not going to the extreme of saying he's the absolute worst goalie.
right.
He's an average goalie, and we've never said that he's... I'm hoping he could be slightly above average.
We've constantly said this is not an elite goaltender.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, see, everybody likes to go to that other extreme. It's almost like politics. You're either like all the way right or all the way left. For us, we're somewhere in the middle with this, right? So there's a lot of folks that are saying, as soon as Jones gets a win, hey, where are all the Jones haters at now? It's like, well, no, he's still not phenomenal, guys. Calm it down. But
and there's tons of trade talk of trading him for
That's
a
not
right
gonna
winger.
happen.
It's just moving it. I'm not saying it won't happen.
I'm saying it won't
very
happen.
unlikely that it'll happen that they trade a goalie mid-season. For one, if your goalie is playing that poorly, who's going to take him on? Who's going to want him?
Yeah.
You're gonna need someone who has the cap space to handle that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's one problem that limits you already. The other one is what are you going to get in return for him if he's playing that poorly and he's that bad of a goalie? You're going to trade him for a bag of pucks, and then what? You have some cap space, and then you got to trade for somebody else. Now you're losing 2, maybe 3 players to get one goalie who your team doesn't really know.
Who's also coming in the middle of the season, and there's no trust relationship with his defense or his the defenseman versus the whole defensive team play. There's a lot going on there. So.
I mean, we talked about this in the season. There was no trade in the off season.
Yeah.
The Sharks are going to be with, for this season at least, Jones and Dell throughout the rest of the season.
I would not be surprised, and I think it's still in the realm of possibility that Dell could get moved.
I only think less so because they've already traded Bebo. If he was still in the system and they had 5 goalies, then I think it would be more likely that he'd be gone. Dell would be gone.
I'm still saying it could potentially be on the table.
It depends on who's coming back.
Yeah.
If a goalie's coming back, yeah, but they're not going to trade him for nothing.
So if you were to trade Dell for another backup goalie, essentially, right? But not just one for one.
Not like
other
not
pieces.
like Dell for a winger.
Yeah, well, but maybe you have Dell and a winger for other goalie and a defenseman.
No, I meant Dell for a winger.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You package it.
Right.
So he goes with somebody else. That's why I'm saying Dell might still be on the table, in my mind.
Right.
Anyway.
I think we're going to see Jones get better. I think when Dell plays better, Jones starts to play better, and now that Dell's starting to play better, he's going to take some more starts away. Jones is going to start playing better because it's more of a competition.
Remember, though, 1 game so far.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But
you're saying he's
overall,
starting to play better. It's only 1 game.
The coaching style is slightly different.
Yeah.
They're boxing more guys out in front. They're giving up less high-danger chances. Their goaltending should get better. Jones did have a very poor game the last game that he played 2 games ago.
Yeah.
He let in some really soft goals against the Rangers. Yes, I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying those are his defenseman's fault. 2 of those goals were bad. 2 of them were bad.
Yes, 2 of them were bad. Yes.
I'm not saying all of them. 2 of those
them
were
were
really bad. That's on him.
Yeah.
Now, once he cleans that up and the Sharks' defense cleans up the high-danger chances, you're going to see him start to string together more wins. That's what I think.
That, to me, is the thing. Nabokov's going to help. Don't get me wrong. He's going to help. A different voice. And he's very animated on the ice. I got to tell you, this guy, it's like he wants to jump in the net. I'm telling you. Like, he really does want to jump in the net because he's so animated with everything that he does.
Nabokov?
Yeah. He wants to get back in. I'm telling you. Let's strap the pads on.
He never wanted to retire.
Yeah, for sure. So, no, he's going to help. Don't get me wrong. But that's not going to be what helps the Sharks win games, guys. Again, you could have Carey Price in net. It's not going to matter. If they don't play good defense around the best goaltender in the league, pick your name. I don't care who it is. If they don't play good defensively in front of that player, that goalie, you're not going to win. You have to play good, solid defense. And if your goaltender is an okay goalie like Martin Jones is, or at least we think he is, then the only way you're going to win games is if you play solid defensively around him, right? So that's my take on that. And I've come to realize a little bit, I'm not so much, and I think I might have misclassified what I'm doing too, because I almost feel like there are times where, yes, I'm basically sitting here just defending Jones. And I think a lot of the folks that are watching this think, yes, Paul just sits there and defends Jones. And I think, I even confuse myself a little bit, but I think what it comes down to is, I'm not so much defending Jones, so much as I'm emphasizing the importance of team defense. When I say that's not his fault, I'm not saying Jones is really good and everybody else sucks. I'm saying the emphasis needs to be on team defense. If they shut that down, that puck wouldn't have gone in. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think I'm sitting there trying to. Oh, he's laughing. What?
Oh,
What are you laughing about?
I'm laughing at.
I don't think that I'm sitting here trying to specifically. I don't have a Joner. Let's put it that way. Okay, I'm not like loving this guy more than anything on the planet. It's just that I'm looking at it, and maybe because I used to play as a defenseman, and I know when I screwed up, and I would never blame my goalie for when it was my blunder. Right? I'll say, hey, dude, my bad. But it seems like anytime the puck goes in, everybody just gravitates towards the goalie. When I think if you ask the defenseman or the 5-man unit in front of Martin Jones or Aaron Dell or Carey Price or anybody else when the puck goes in and it's their fault, they'd tell you it's their fault. I'm just looking at it through the eyes of somebody who played as a defenseman, not like professionally or anything, but that's the role that I played. And I know when I screwed up, and I just take a look at what's on the ice and I go, well, there's a missed assignment right there. So whether that puck went in and he could have saved it, okay, maybe he could have, but that's not really on him. The defense needs to take care of that. So, anyway.
Last thing I'm going to say.
Okay,
on this. Nicholas Egan, can't wait for the Fing Factor pre-show where we don't have to talk about goaltending.
Yes!
Me too. Me too. All right, let's move on to something else.
Bro, it'll never come. You know why? Because there will be a loss. Somewhere between now and the end of the season, there will be a loss.
Hopefully
and everyone's going to go, ah!
Hopefully not like the one 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago. 2 games ago.
Can I just say, by the way, though, that I appreciate the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Even the guys that disagree with us, I love it because that's exactly what the show's supposed to be.
Right.
It's supposed to be just buddies sitting around chatting about the Sharks. And, hey, we disagree sometimes, and that's cool. And I love that we're, converting St. Louis fans, guys that are sitting here watching us and chatting along with that. This is what it is. This is the community right here, the conversation. I love this.
Let's do a roll call real quick. Tell us where you're watching and how you found us. And producer Jason's going to throw those up on the screen. People are talking about the power play because the power play is kind of going cold.
Yeah.
It is. It has a different look. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. But one thing I want to talk about is Brent Burns.
Ooh.
You know how many games he's gone without a point?
Yeah.
Do you know? How many?
9, 10.
12.
12. Oh.
That's just...
Okay.
And then before that, 1 assist, nothing. 1 assist, nothing.
You know what I love about that, though?
That's amazing.
You know what I love about that? How many points have still come from the blue line?
Wow.
Don't have to look it up.
No, I know, but...
Carlson's still stepping up and doing his job. When one goes cold, the other one is still there, right?
Brendan Dillon is outscoring Brent Burns in the last dozen
Well,
games.
if he's not getting a point, what do
I'm
you
just
expect?
saying, that's crazy to think that.
That clap
Right?
from Dilly.
Oh, that was so nice.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
They could legitimately. You guys might laugh at me. They could legitimately put Brendan Dillon in the shootout. I've seen his hands.
You keep talking about
He's
that.
got good hands.
They have so many other options.
I know, but they don't have any options that no one's ever seen before.
Real
no one's
quick.
ever seen Brendan Dillon.
Casa de Pescado.
Yeah.
Longtime guy. Guys, I have to give a million thanks for recommending the XL Taco at the Tank.
Oh.
I sneaked in a brewski and I was in heaven.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that thing's ridiculous. It was like this big. Like, no joke. It was huge.
Noah Claxton, what are your guys' prediction for the Sharks this season at this point? Playoffs, trade deadline acquisitions? I still think Doug Wilson's going to make a move.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that either way if they're going to be sellers or buyers. I think the Sharks are going to pull it together. We saw them in November put together a 6-game win streak, was it? And it
They won like 11 out of 13 or something like that.
Yeah, okay, 11 out of 13, something like that, right? Shot them right up in the standings. They're really not that far. In fact, I had the standings filed up right here. I thought I had them up.
It's either 5 or 3 points, I think.
Sharks are at 34 points. Edmonton has 40. They're 6 points behind.
That's
Edmonton,
first.
Sorry. No, Arizona's in first.
Oh, okay.
Goes Arizona, Vegas, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, San Jose. So 42, 41, 40, 40, 36, 34.
Mm-hmm.
Sharks are 6 points out behind Edmonton and Calgary for that third spot. It's not that dire. You put together, you win 5 out of 6 games, which I think this team can do once they get their stuff together.
And we just fired our head coach.
I know.
I mean,
but they're changing the way that they're
That's
playing
what I
in front of the
mean.
net. Like, I think they can pull it together. They have the personnel to do it. I don't think it's out of hand. They have a lot of home games still
Yeah.
in December.
Yeah.
So I think they can do exactly what they did in November, pull it together. And I still think they're going to be a playoff team. I'll say that.
I do think they will be a playoff team again. I mean, I honestly, depending on how this whole thing with Boogie goes, look, if you guys thought that Pete DeBoer was the problem, they unloaded DeBoer. You're laughing because I said Boogie, aren't you?
No,
you
I'm
are
laughing
so...
at something else. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. No,
Don't mind me. Don't mind
no,
me.
I can't. You're sitting right next to me. No, so you know, if you thought that Pete DeBoer was the problem, he's gone. So the problem's gone. So Boogie, see if you're laughing. Okay. And, you know, he steps in. He's saying all the right things. Okay. He's saying they want to play stronger defensively. He's saying they want to have that forecheck. He's saying all the right things. So if they can get on board with that, yeah, there's no reason that they can't be a playoff team. Guys, I think they have enough firepower. I really do. And I know that they're not as deep on the forward lines as they used to be, or last season even, but we have a healthy Erik Karlsson now. We just talked about Brent Burns going cold, but Erik Karlsson is still generating points. If Erik Karlsson goes cold, guess what? Brent Burns is probably going to start generating points. That blue line is going to help feed that offense regardless of which line it is. And if they can get the power play back on track, I mean, think about that. If the power play starts hitting, and that's like an extra goal every couple games, you know, that's a win here and there. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't think that we're out by any means. I think it's way too early for me to be like, you know, the standings have a lot of weight, they carry a lot of clout. I'm not buying that yet. Especially, you know, again, we kind of have to see how Bugner's going to play out, how the new coaching staff's going to play out. Nabby might do wonders with Dell and Jones and turn them into things, something we've never seen before. And on top of that, if Bugner's defense starts pushing everybody out, you'll have really good goaltending and good defense. I mean, hey, maybe we go on this gigantic roll. Maybe we are the next St. Louis Blues without Al Binnington. Who knows, right? But we just have to see how that plays out. You never know.
Keith, we are no longer the Sharks who say knee. We are now the Sharks who say eki pating zoom boing. Love it. Love it.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That's why I was laughing earlier.
Yeah.
I was waiting forever for you to finish so I could say it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it. We're winning the cup this year.
Was that the Blues?
I think
or
so.
is one of our...
No.
Oh, okay.
What was I going to say? Casa de Pescado again. Guys, what's up with all the negativity? The Sharks are doing exactly what the Lightning are doing. Saving it all and waiting for a peak when it matters. You know, one thing that they did mention, I'm trying to remember who it was, when I think it was during the win streak, they were talking about how poorly they played in October, and they said, well, it's better to go through it now than later. Because once you fight through it and you get through it, you feel better, you're more confident, you get your game established and you're more confident. I think they're kind of doing that again, unfortunately. But again, it's better to do it in December than to do it in March.
Yeah.
Imagine if they have that losing streak in March, like some teams did last year.
Us,
but even Vegas was even worse.
Yeah.
And they squeaked into the playoffs, barely.
Yeah.
So
no,
I think they're only going to come out stronger from it.
Yeah, I'd much rather be on the right track at the end of the season, start the season off poorly, get that stuff figured out and out of the way, and be on the right track than to amass a lot of wins, even be in first place and then lose like your next 7 straight because obviously something's gone wrong and you're going into playoffs with something gone wrong and now you have to scramble to figure out what it is. You don't have the whole season to figure out what it is and fix it then. In the same fashion that you feel better about a win, or a loss rather, in overtime when your team was coming from behind. Mm-hmm. They played poorly in the first period, got a goal against, and then they came back, scored a goal, tied it, and then they lose. You feel good about that one, though, right? As opposed to your team came out of the gates roaring, and then they faltered in the third period, gave up 3 goals, and it goes to overtime, and then they lose. That feels horrible, right? So it's the same type of thing. That type of game, that type of season, right? So anyway, you just laughing the whole time.
Sorry. Well, first off, Joe Dodge, thank you for the $25. Where do you guys think the Sharks will look to improve a push for playoffs? And then followed up by Lundy. Suppose we build a large wooden badger.
Oh my god. All right, let's go back to the serious question. One more time. What did you say?
Where do you think the guys? Where do you guys think the Sharks will look to improve to push for playoffs?
Yeah, no, I still think they're looking for a winger.
Top 9, top 6.
Well, I don't say top 9 because that includes the first line. I don't think we're looking at a guy of that caliber. I think we're looking at somebody who's what I've been calling middle 6, right? I don't think he's going to be a guy that you can shuffle all the way to the top line. I think he's going to be one of those guys that you kind of go back and forth between second and third.
Someone
ironically,
like Nyquist.
Ironically, no, Nyquist you could put on the first line.
Yeah.
Ironically, someone like Chris Tierney.
Yeah, not a center, a winger.
No, maybe not, but like. Get out of here with that. Somebody like a Chris Tierney.
Anthony Duclair.
Okay, somebody brought up Duclair. Now, I don't mind Duclair. He's got a lot of potential, but you're making a play for, like, future with Anthony Duclair.
Are you?
I think you are. How old is he now?
He's not that young anymore.
I think he's 24.
He's bounced around,
25?
too.
Yeah, he's bounced around.
Something's up with him
but
because...
that's my problem with Duclair.
He had a guy that had a lot of promise and hasn't quite gotten there.
Exactly.
Now he is, but now he's like... he's not old, but he's not a 22-year-old prospect anymore.
Now he is. Are you saying because he got a hat trick the other day?
Oh, he's scoring like crazy. I guess he's only 24.
I was going to say, he's not that old.
But, I mean, he was on... Let's see.
No, he's
Rangers,
3 or 4
Coyotes,
yeah.
Blackhawks, Blue Jackets, now Senators.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of teams for 24.
Sure is. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if Duclair... That to me is a roll of the dice.
I think he's a guy that doesn't have a 200-foot game,
Mm-hmm.
who's all offense, which we already have one
In
of
LeBanc.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would we want another one of those? I think we're going to have a more defensive two-way guy.
I could see that.
More somebody who's shut down, but who can also score.
Somebody who's not going to score that many goals,
Yeah.
has a bit of a touch, but is going to end up playing in that middle 6. That, to me, is the guy that we're looking for. Whoever that is, I have no idea.
Casa de Pescado has a great point. San Jose has way more potential than the Lightning. Once we get 85% of the Sharks roster playing to their potential, no one will be able to stop them. Watch for EK65 to show us the way. Now, I agree with that. This is why I think the Sharks are a playoff team, because they haven't still reached their potential. They're not all playing their best hockey right now. And I think once they do, Timo Meier, once he gets his game really going and rolling, Hurdle is still not playing as Hurdle-like as he was last year.
Okay.
Couture's picked it up finally. Burns is not doing anything in the last 12 games. He's not scoring any goals.
Yeah.
EK65 is doing pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
But I think there's a couple guys that are just not playing at their top level like they should be. And once they're all playing like that way, then the Sharks are going to be really rolling.
Are Stamkos and Kucherov playing at their top level?
Okay, forget about the Lightning. I'm talking about the Sharks.
No, that's fine. But you wanted to compare him to the Lightning.
I wasn't comparing. That's what he did.
Okay, I'm for him.
I'm just
the
saying.
show isn't about you, buddy. Okay.
Yeah. Forget about the Lightning part.
Okay.
My whole point is
Yeah.
they're not playing to their potential.
I agree.
And they're going to, once they start playing to their potential, whereas like this goes back to my pretenders team, pretenders and contenders.
Yeah.
The pretenders are the ones that are playing to their potential. This is the best that they're going to be. They're only going to go down from there. Vancouver being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton being another. They're no longer the leader of the division.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Sharks will get there, and I think they're going to be like last year when they went through that 15-game streak, right?
Yeah.
And Carlson had 25 points in 15 games.
25 points in 14 games, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
Just crazy.
And then people wonder why you pay him $11.5 million. Look, I know he turns the puck over now and then, but guys, look at that list of turnovers, of players that turn the puck over and sort it by the most. And I'm telling you, last I checked, and I haven't checked recently, but last I checked, 18 of the 20 of those players were defensemen. It's just something that defensemen end up doing because they're trying to break the puck out. And the names on that list were all guys that get tons of minutes and are expected to be moving the puck. So yeah, they're constantly doing that. They're gonna get more takeaways.
Are you proposing that we fleece the Senators once again?
Oh, stop it.
Maybe they'll do us a solid since they have our first round pick.
Who else was on
Carlson?
there was somebody else on the Senators that. Oh no, was Duclair?
What?
Duclair's
Former
on the
Shark?
Senators. No, Duclair's on the Senators.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, there you go. Yeah, that's why.
That's what we're talking about.
I wasn't sure he was talking about Duclair because I said Tierney.
What about Kovalchuk?
Ugh.
After they terminate his contract. Same situation as Marlowe. League minimum. Third, fourth line guy that can score.
Could, wasn't. I don't know. I don't take a flyer on a guy just because of his name.
I know.
You know, he wasn't producing.
In L.A., nobody is.
Somebody's got to put the
I'm not
puck in the net.
defending him, but I'm also slightly intrigued. For a league minimum 1-year deal,
Okay.
I'd be interested.
I think if he showed anything,
A
in
dollar
LA,
more than the league minimum? No way.
killing me. No, I don't think so. I think if you're gonna do that, I wouldn't bring Kovalchuk in because he's gonna be a rental player, and then you're giving something up for a rental player when you're not even sure. Huh?
He'll be a free agent.
Oh,
They're cutting his contract. That's my point.
Okay. Yeah, nah, I still don't want to.
Anyway, we got 2 minutes, and then we're gonna end it here.
Okay.
So we'll take one more question.
Sure.
How about that?
Sure.
All right.
Is there a question?
Promote something while we're waiting for a
Promote
question.
something.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, once again, the Cyber Monday sale we've extended it, so 25% off of anything. Who was it? The guy that Ben, I think is what his name was.
And Gunsry.
There you go. So Ben figured it out. He went into the finfactor.com, picked up a couple shirts. I think it was a gray and a black one. They are super comfy, super soft, and they look phenomenal too. So if you are enjoying the show, you want to help support us, please pop onto the website there and pick up a shirt or 2 or 7 and a hat, maybe, and some stickers. That'd be great. I know Aaron's got one on his water bottle over here. The hats are actually pretty nice too. They are very puffy stitching. I guess they stand off of the hat pretty well. Oh, whoa, that's some big eyes. Holy moly.
Fun fact: it makes your water taste better.
Does it really?
It makes it tingle.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so if you guys are enjoying the show and everything, and we do appreciate all the super chat money, that money can go into a nice t-shirt or something as well. So again, 25% off. Use the code that's on the website there, and that is me buying you time.
Perfect.
25% off buying you time.
All right, last question we got here. I think the power play, we need to put Heed or Burns in Ovi's office in the face-off circle. Get those close-up one-timers, especially since Heater and Burnsy have rockets. Thoughts on that idea?
I don't know about Heed necessarily, but yes, I want Burnsy there for sure.
And he asked earlier if we should have Heed get more ice time. I don't think so. I don't think he's there. I think he's good, but I don't think he's good enough to get more than 12 minutes.
You know what I want on the power play? I've said it before. Ferraro.
Goals?
I want Ferraro.
Yeah,
I want to see Ferraro on the power play.
I think he would be fantastic.
Yeah.
On the second power play.
Yeah.
Because right now it's Heed and Vlasic, right?
No, right. Actually, you know what I saw recently in the last game? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw this. Burns and Carlson didn't change. They stayed out.
For
They
2
stayed
minutes. I think it depends on situational,
Yeah.
how much minutes they got, all that kind of stuff.
Because the forward core swapped out. I'm like, they're
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. We're going to go. Thank you for tuning in and watching. We're going to go now and record our episode, which will be out on Tuesday morning. Right, Jay?
Yep.
And thank you for all your questions and thoughts and comments. We appreciate it. And thank you for the super chat money. And anything else you'd like to add?
No, that'll do it.
Great. Be sure to like our thing. Oh, we got 7 thumbs down and 9 thumbs up. That's kind of mean. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. That would be fantastic. That's the most dislikes I think we've gotten in a
Yeah,
long
I think
time.
somebody might have created some more accounts.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys later this week.
Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate you chiming in and chatting with us. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.